Welcome to the program and welcome to the World Economic Forum, which is underway here in Davos, Switzerland. This event brings together business leaders, international officials and policymakers from around the globe. Trade is certainly on the agenda, and today I'm sitting down with the European Union's Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmström. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us, what's on your plate here in Davos? Why are you here?
Well, I am here to meet a lot of different ministers from different countries to discuss trade, of course. There is an informal ministerial where the main issue is actually to see if we can conclude the Doha round, as has been discussed for many, many years. But now there is really a breakthrough, finally, and hopefully we can conclude it within a year or a little bit more. So that's the main purpose. But I'm also here to discuss and to participate in many seminars to discuss something called TTIP, which is a free trade agreement that we are negotiating between the European Union and the United States.
Exactly, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership,
Exactly.
I believe. That is what TTIP means.
TTIP, yes.
You're going to meet with your American counterpart, Michael Froman.
I am. I'm meeting him in an hour, yes.
What are you going to be talking about with him? Is there a possibility to make some progress here in Davos when it comes to TTIP?
Well, we're not really here to negotiate, but we're taking stock on where we are. Our technical staff has been meeting the last week, so we take stock of that and see if we can sketch a way forward during this year. We want to try to conclude this under the mandate of President Obama. I don't know if it's possible, but we will try, and we will see what next needs to be done in the different chapters and what homework we are to give to our negotiating teams.
Now, in Europe, we're currently seeing a lot of concerns when it comes to health and safety standards being watered down because of TTIP. Also, there are concerns of customer data being shared across borders and shared across the Atlantic. Also, there are concerns that major companies could take countries to certain tribunals or to special tribunals to basically take them to court over if they feel that they've been hard done by, so to speak. We're seeing a lot of concerns, as I say. Do you think that European public opinion is the main sticking point at the moment to conclude TTIP?
Well, it's definitely a huge challenge. Investigations or polls show that the majority of European citizens are in favour of TTIP. But there are a lot of concerns, and these need to be addressed, of course. And that's why I have embarked in a new transparency initiative. We put most of the texts, the negotiating text, the legal documents, the background documents, the position papers from the European Union are now online, so that people can see for themselves what are we actually negotiating about and what's not in there, so people can get themselves a good opinion from that, so we can discuss on a basis of facts and not of myths. And I'm also trying to meet a lot of stakeholders to explain to them and to reassure them that we are not going to lower any standards when it comes to health or consumer protection. Neither are the Americans. So what we're doing is to try to find out where there are obstacles to trade on a more technical level, where we have similar safety testing on crash cars, for instance, or test certain pharmaceuticals. They're equally safe, but we do it two different ways. So if we can harmonize or if we can agree to accept each other's, we can save a lot of money, and that's facilitating.
You seem to be fighting an uphill battle, though, so to speak, when it comes to just these issues. As I say, though, it seems as if public opinion in Europe is the main sticking point.
Public opinion is difficult here, so we need really to engage with them. I can do that, and I will, and I am every day, but also member states need to do that. It is 28 heads of government and ministers who have asked the Commission to negotiate this, because we all believe this is good for Europe. It will bring growth, jobs, investment, and it can help us to set global standards. But then also prime ministers, other ministers, local leaders need to walk the walk and not only talk the talk on this with their citizens. I cannot convince 500 million citizens, even if, as I said, a majority are in favor of this. But there are many vocal concerns. These needs to be addressed, of course.
I couldn't help but to notice your smile when you said that the ambition is to conclude this before President Barack Obama leaves office.
It is, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the timeline as you see it. Is that feasible?
It is feasible with a lot of effort from our side and from the Americans. Of course, if we are to bring an agreement, we need to make concessions, we need to make progress. I think it is possible, but it is a little bit too early to say. For me, once there is a deal, that has to be adopted by member states and the European Parliament. So I need to feel comfortable that it's a good deal, and that is more important than speed, of course. If we can finalize during the Obama regime, and the trade minister and the Congress from both parties are committed to do that, that's excellent, but it's a little bit too early to say.
I just want to get your take on where we are now when it comes to global trade. You mentioned the Doha trade round before, which hasn't been concluded as of yet, although there's some progress made. There's been talk of, after the financial crisis, that perhaps protectionist barriers have been coming up. What do you think about global trade at the moment? Are you worried about protectionism? Is that something that concerns you?
It is. Protectionism is there, and also in the sort of aftermath of the economic crisis, and we're still not out of it. We have seen that, and that's why it is so important to engage globally on these issues. We have a lot of bilateral talks. That's unavoidable, and that's good. But we also need to make sure that WTO functions. The Doha round, that is really a breakthrough that happened just before Christmas. If we can conclude that, that would be beneficial, basically mostly for the poorest countries of the world. So if we can bring them into the global agenda and help them to trade themselves out of poverty as well, of course with a lot of other reforms and work, that is really important for global growth and for global inclusion. So the multilateral agenda is maybe more important than ever.
I'm going to ask you about the timeline again when it comes to the Doha trade round.
Well, the ambition is to try to conclude that by the end of the year or beginning of next year. That's the ambition of the Secretary General of WTO, and of course we fully support that, and we do from European side everything we can to support that.
But how feasible is it, do you think?
It's feasible because it's now or never.
Okay. But you said that you are worried about protectionist barriers. Where do you see that protectionism coming from in the world? Well,
many countries we have trade irritants, so that I think has been sometimes due to nationalistic politics in some countries, and still the problem that you need to protect your economy, whereas of course trade not at any price, but trade under rules and under a good regime is something that can actually help to get out of the crisis. There will be many seminars about this here in Davos, and I'm looking forward to contribute to them.
Okay, but do you want to mention some countries that we're seeing
I don't think. I mean,
happening in?
We have irritants with lots of countries. I don't think it's meaningful to sit and list them here.
All right, Cecilia Malmström, the EU Trade Commissioner, I want to thank you very much indeed for taking the time here in Davos.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to be wrapping up this edition. Thank you for watching.